My name's Quinn. I'm currently updating our 40-year-old house. Some hallways can be really boring, especially in older homes. They are usually very narrow and dark, just like mine. This hallway is on our main level. As you walk in the front door, the left side is to the living room, kitchen, and the dining room. And the right side is this hallway which leads you to the rest of the house and the stairways. The house was previously painted with a yellowy beige color on all the walls. It made the space dark and dreary, especially for this hallway. It felt cold and depressing as there's no windows and very little natural light. Updating a hallway in an older home can be a challenge. My goal is to give this space a bit more style and brighten it up. So let's get started. Very first thing I did was to remove all the baseboards. In this process, you will need to use a utility knife to cut through and break the caulking line between wall and the baseboard. Then use chisel, crowbar, and the hammer. Gently separate them, then remove the baseboard. This box on the wall, I wasn't sure what it was for. I thought it might be a hardwired doorbell ring. Since I'd already updated our doorbell to a wireless one, so this box needed to be removed. The box was removed and I had to deal with this big hole on the wall. If you have a hole that is too big for just a simple fill of putty, this is what you will need to do. The first thing you want to do is to use a drywall saw or utility knife. Cut the hole to a regular shape. Smooth the edges as much as you can. Next, you will get a new piece to fill the hole. Hardware stores sell small sheets. In my case, I have a small piece of drywall left over from bathroom renovation. I just simply measure the hole, then cut a new piece to fill. Since there wasn't a stud behind, I needed to screw a couple of pieces of shims to the back side of the hole in the wall. These were the dog ears I cut off from the cedar fence board when I was making raised bed planter project. I cut off these dog ears and saved them for something like this. Use drywall screws to attach the shims to the wall from inside. Then attach the new piece to the shims. Next, you want to cover the cracks with the drywall tape. Be sure to cover all four sides. After the tape is on, you can use your putty knife to apply joint compound to cover it. If your wall is smooth, after joint compound is fully dry, you can use a piece of sandpaper to sand it smooth. I didn't have to do that as my wall was textured. This thermostat was installed in the middle of the wall. I needed to move it further to the left in order to get some room for displaying a couple of art pieces. Luckily, the wires inside the wall were long enough for me to pull over. All I needed to do was to cut a line on the drywall and pull the wires to the further left. Use the drywall tape to seal the crack and then apply the joint compound to cover it. The same with this fire alarm. It looked like a piece of antique. Definitely needed to be removed and replace it with a newer model. I then painted the walls and ceiling with the Wolfspar brand interior paint. Color is called Dujor. It's type of a white color but not too sharp. Since the hallway was small and dark, I wanted to use a light wall color to make the space feel as open and bright as possible. After painting the walls, I started adding the baseboard and the molding to the wall. I installed the 1x4 pine as baseboard using a nail gun. For the crown molding, I installed the 1x3 on the top edge first, then 1x4 along the wall edge below. There are 4 doors up here in this small hallway, one for a guest bathroom, one for a spare bedroom, and the one in the end is another bedroom we converted to office. Plus the entryway closet, all painted with this pure white color. As the previous paint had some shine to it, I lightly sanded all the doors with 220 grit sand sponge. Then use the TSP heavy-duty cleaner to degloss the painted surface and also clean off the grease and the residue. I wanted to paint all the doors and the wall molding with the same neutral light color, so I went to a nearby Ace Hardware store and picked up this Benjamin Moore's interior paint. Color was Cooling Wood. It's a very light gray with a warm undertone. If you've been following me for a while, you would have seen me painting several doors already. But in case anyone is new here, just a few important tips with painting the doors. First, tape off the edges using painter's tape. For the painting part, I always use a brush to paint the edges and the corners first, then use a high-density foam roller to paint the flat surface. If you paint more than one coat, make sure the previous coat dries completely before you start the next one. This is very important. After installing the molding, you can see the broken lines between walls and the doors. I decided to add a 1x2 to fill the gaps above all the doors. After all the boards installed, I used the wood plaster to fill the nail holes and then applied the water-based paintable caulk to fill the gaps in the joints. Used my finger to smooth it out, then sand it down before painting. I then painted this old cabinet and updated all the hardware. I have made a separate video on how I transformed this cabinet with all the details. Please check out my last video to see the whole process. I didn't upgrade the hinges to soft close type. That's because if I did, my cats wouldn't be able to open and close the bottom door anymore. They love to hide themselves in that spot, especially when we have visitors. I wanted to replace the ceiling light with a different style. However, the new light fixture would block the cabinet door from opening. So I had to stay with this light, but I did spray paint the cover to the color of satin bronze. I then installed a new fire alarm to the ceiling. This one is the detector for both smoke and carbon. It's hot-wired but with a 10-year battery backup, meaning it'll be working all the time, whether the power is on or not. When dealing with the electrical wires, please remember always to turn off the power first. For double security, I bought this electrical tester pin, and I always use it to test before I ever touch the wires. I then removed and updated the light switches with the screwless wall plates. A narrow hallway like this doesn't require a lot of accessories. You don't want to over-decorate this small area. It will end up looking cluttered and untidy. The easiest and the most effective way to decorate a hallway is to add a couple of large art pieces. I did a thrift flip video last month with a set of wooden art pieces that I found from a thrift store. It only costed me $5 to create this set of large textured wall art. Please check it out if you haven't seen the video. I think this is the perfect spot to show off these stylish and stunning art pieces. It really added class and blended color to the space without completely taking over. To break up the darkness of the flooring and visually whiten the hallway, I added a runner with a neutral light and a warm color. I placed it in the middle of the hall so it would take away the narrow and dark feeling. I got this runner from Amazon. The original price was $90. Only this color on sale, as of right now, is still on sale for $23, which I think is a great deal. I will link it down in the description box below. If you are interested, make sure to check it out before the deal ends. I just love the earthy, warm tones in this rug. Such a tiny change can make a big difference in the overall look of the space. I never noticed anything when walking through the hallway before. But now I love to enjoy all the nice touches as I pass through the space. Just because you have a small hallway doesn't mean it has to be boring. I hope you found this video helpful to transform the hallway in your space. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.